the Senate is still in, and it's our understanding that there will be a vote on a new voting bill this week. As soon as we get that vote, and hopefully it will be a victorious vote, then we can go home and have to deal with the inevitable, which is Republicans that decide that they don't want to negotiate, that they don't care about the voting rights of the majority. Now we'll know that we've got federal legislation backing us up.
So here's the situation as of tonight. At least 26 Texas House Democrats remain in D.C. this evening, still avoiding home, still far from home, and begging their party in Congress to do the right thing and pass voting rights. They have managed to delay Republican efforts to pass restrictive voting bills in their states, going on months now. Over the weekend, several of the Democrats did return home to Texas after a judge temporarily blocked their arrest upon arrival for breaking quorum. Still here with us tonight, our friends Don Calloway and Stuart Stevens. Don, this is a tough question to ask because people fear the answer. Do you think the Texas Democrats have had an impact on D.C., on their fellow Democrats? And what's the real chance, Don, that we're going to see federal action on voting rights?
I think there's a much higher chance that we'll see federal action on voting rights than there was had the Texas Democrats not done what they did. This is a sustained act of political courage unseen since the Freedom Summer of 1964. So they should be applauded for what they've done. They have certainly raised the specter of the issue, which is step number one in any type of substantive movement. And there is no more substantive, no more important movement than the right to vote. So I think that they have had very real, very serious meetings with Joe Manchin. I think that he's coming around to a hybrid of the For the People Act and the John Lewis voting rights bill. He wants to see that somewhat pared down. Some of the things included in the For the People Act, such as campaign finance reform, he doesn't really want to touch. But I think that he is getting to a decent place. Unfortunately, I don't see any Republicans coming on board on the Senate-wise, but I think that Joe Manchin is getting to a better place because of conversations the Texas Democrats have spurred. But again, this is up to Chuck Schumer to do away with the filibuster. This is up to Joe Biden to demand the Senate do away with the filibuster, because what we're talking about is substantive reform on so many different topics, and we can't let some arcane Jim Crow Senate rule stand in the way of such real change.
And Stuart, a couple of things here. As I've said before, it would take less time to list the Americans who have not met with Joe Manchin on voting rights at this point. You have warned our viewers to watch out for not just the voting, but the counting and what states are doing to get set up for the next election to monkey with the results. Do you think the Texas Democrats, at bare minimum, have done their part to raise awareness, to Don's point?
Yeah, look, I think a lot of fights you get in, not because you think you're gonna win necessarily, but because you have to fight. And I think this was one of those cases. What choices did they have? I think they've elevated the issue. We're talking about it. We wouldn't have been talking about it. And the greatest danger here is to see this as isolated actions by this state or that state. This is part of like a combined arms movement among Republicans, and it's the majority of them, I hate to say, that want to limit our voting system. They want to change our voting system. I mean, there's a direct line between what Clark tried to do with an attempted coup and what's happening in Texas. And that is to limit the number of people who can vote because you're not winning a majority of the voters. And that's what Republicans are trying to do here. And you let them get away with it, and you're going to lose a democracy.